Does shipping on eBay got you down? Got you down. It's not very good English, is it? But in any case, is it something that gives you a lot of trouble and you really wish there was some direction? Well, we are going to try to give you that direction today. So stay tuned to find out how. Welcome to the Prof Sales YouTube channel. I am Prof Sales.
And I'm Just Ask Kaaren.
I love the way you say that. I don't know why.
It's a little recorder, like a play button that I pushed, and the same words come out in the same tone in the same way each time.
You're lip syncing. I knew it. Yeah. So this channel is about being an entrepreneur, selling on eBay or Amazon, e-commerce platforms in general, being in business for yourself, and your mindset too, like how you approach your business and what you hope to get out of it. And we try to create a positive environment, a positive community here for all those things and a lot of other things too.
Yes, I'd say that's right. So, hey, speaking of positive community, first, hi to Gabrielle. She's probably not in the chat yet, but she's a new friend here. She lives close, and we're going to meet her. So there.
All right, cool.
And I want to, without going into a lot of detail, I just want to say that tomorrow will be cloudy with increasing periods of sun. And this is just, I'm not going to tell you a lot about this coffee mug, but it's very special. It's a new edition, and it means the world to me. And those words, I'll probably do a whole separate feels show about it. But I want to thank my senders of my cup, Don and Marilyn, and they know who they are and why they are, and I am forever grateful.
And, you know, that's a lot of the reasons why we do this show. We make connections with people that we never would have met otherwise, that have become friends of ours, become people we network with, we've learned things from, we've broke bread together. We're doing that tonight with Sue.
I was hoping you would talk about Sue, and we're even dragging Ben along with us. But we have a reseller friend that is making her loop, and it is a serious loop at that.
It's like a countrywide loop.
It's not even funny, but they do a huge FBA business, right?
Yep.
And she is basically making her rounds, and she's stopping to see us again, and I'm so excited to see her. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, it'll be great. We saw her about 4 months ago when she came through this area, and she's back. So we're going to go out to dinner and just converse and find out how her fourth quarter has been going. It'll be interesting to hear about her travels around the country. Buying things for FBA, Amazon, and just, you know, living a kind of a cool reselling dream that she's got, which is she's got interesting stories.
And she works with her son and her work together. And he's a grown man. And I secretly,
he's a grown man.
And I point that out because when she sent us the note earlier, as most of us are flying by the seat of our pants anyway, and she said, sorry for the late notice, but if you guys want to come, you know, bring Ben along. And in the back of my mind, secretly, I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to bring him good food and maybe a little ninja his brain that moms and sons, no matter where they are, can work together and work well together. So it's going to be awesome. I love to hear about her adventures and what her bolos are and just how she's doing it. And she is doing it in such a big, wonderful way. I just love it.
All right. So once again, welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. And we're glad you're here. We're going to talk about shipping on eBay today. And we have talked about this subject before, but man, it just keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. So this subject, I think, gives people more trouble, more consternation, more of an uneasy feeling than just about anything.
Well, and one of the things is when we do these live hangouts and when we are in these chats, you know, we have resellers from all walks of life and on all parts of their journey, right? And we throw around terms like PFRE and drop shipping and this and that. And we just assume that everybody that is within earshot can understand what we're talking about. So in our own way, we're going to kind of go back to go forward and kind of be a little bit all-inclusive today, just to help sort of, I don't know, level the playing field a little bit. And we're going to speak not only to the methods and manners, but we're going to do a little definition of terms here. So it's not, if you're new to the channel or if you're new to reselling, we're going to do our darndest to not make it sound like, you know, oh, it's so much.
So if you're in the chat right now, we have a live chat going. So if you ever want to join us on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do a 2 o'clock show, Eastern Standard Time, and there's a live chat. It's live on a Google Hangout, and you can always leave us a question or comment after this post as well. But if you're here live, I want to hear from you guys. What is the most difficult part about shipping? What has been the part of shipping that has given you the most trouble? It's been the most difficult to figure out. It's maybe been, you know, a piece that you've been putting off, sort of figuring it out to another level. Maybe you've already got it completely figured out. And then maybe it's just a matter of what kind of, you know, what kind of bumps along the way did you encounter? Because I find a lot of eBayers this happens with.
And for all the pirates in the chat, it's what is the bane of your existence? Arr.
Wow. So
I have to make at least one, please. One pirate reference every show.
There we go. There's the one. So, yeah, but anything that, you know, you're having trouble with shipping, I'd like to hear it, because we're going to talk about some of those and kind of what we found. Not that we have every single answer, because we don't by a long shot, but I think we have figured out a few things the hard way along the way. Large Bargain said my printer went offline while I was trying to print labels this morning, and hubby's not home to fix it. Yeah, and you know, some people have a backup printer. It's not the craziest idea if you're doing a lot of volume, because even if your printer just went down, like if you ran out of toner, you know, you may need more toner or a print cartridge. You may not have another one, or something broke in it. Safe packaging and safely packing. Yep, I hear that one a lot too, Kat. That one comes up quite a bit, like how to package something so it'll get there safely. USPS rates over first class and beyond priority flat rates. Can you use your phone? I'm not sure what that means, Red Neckerson, exactly. I have a laser and an inkjet. Yeah, not the worst idea in the world. Estimating shipping costs. Yeah, that's tricky for sure. Finding good labels that stick is a challenge, for sure, Sadie, no question. Most difficult that eBay won't let me do calculated and flat rate on the same listing on different shipping types. Yeah, and that's more like of an eBay issue there, but you still got to pick one, right? So it's like, how do you figure it out? Shipping boots and hard goods. I mean, these are all very common questions, and we've run into several of them. But the first thing,
I'm just getting ready. We have props, and we're going to do show
we have props.
We have
there are props.
So wait, let me, before you say that. So the #1 rule of shipping,
that's what I was going to say,
is we don't discuss the rules of shipping.
Okay, that's not what I was
That's not what it says, but hey.
This is not Fight Club, which we won't mention. So the #1 rule of shipping. All right, let's start with that. And you guys can post what your own #1 rule is, but I'm going to tell you what ours is. And it's really, really simple. Don't lose money on shipping. That's the first rule. Like, don't lose money on it. Shipping can be very, very expensive. It's one of those costs that when you look at the cost of it versus the sale per item, it's probably one of the highest percentage costs you're going to run into, unless you're selling very high priced items that are, and then your eBay and PayPal costs might be higher. But shipping is very expensive in certain cases, so it's important that you get it right. And the #1 rule is don't lose money on it. Guys, I know there's all these theories out there about shipping and free this and free that and do this and do that. But you're in business, I hope, to make a profit on some level. And shipping will rob you of profits if you're not very careful. You're not in business to eat all the shipping costs. If somebody wants something, they're going to have to pay you to ship it to them. That's reality, and you shouldn't have to lose money on that. That's not fair to you as a seller. So I would absolutely say that is the #1 rule of shipping.
Well, and arguably, you should be worrying about shipping even before you're worrying about listing. That is probably, if we did a most common mistakes resellers make, that one would by far have to be the #1. When you're, especially when you're new at it, it's not something you can be reactive about. You must be proactive about shipping and already have it in your mind that you're going to figure that out before you ship your item, because I guarantee you it will burn you if you do not.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Red Neckerson, thanks so much for the super chat. He's a great fan of the great fan and friend of the show. So we do appreciate that, sir. Hope you're having a great Friday.
And 177 is a lovely number. It's just my favorite.
I know.
And speaking of rules, we have a number 2 rule that we can say, right?
Yep.
The number 2 rule of shipping is that no matter what, that your buyer pays for shipping, even if it's free.
So many people do not understand that rule. They think and you know why I know they don't understand that rule? Because they think because you hear them say things like, well, if I offer free shipping, isn't going to cost me a lot of money. They're starting from the premise that it's free and therefore they eat the cost. They know that it's not free. They know that some sort of shipping agency, the USPS or UPS or FedEx or whoever, is going to ship it and charge somebody. So they start from that idea that, well, if I have free shipping, I'm going to lose a lot of money. No. That's not the way it works. Like, let's even think about it this way. Amazon, great example. Amazon gives free shipping to Prime members, correct? Think about that for a moment. They give free shipping to Prime members. There's 2 key words in that sentence. Prime members. People are paying a membership, a yearly membership, for that free shipping. Now, Amazon has calculated out and figured out, I'm sure to the nth degree, that if we charge this amount for a Prime membership, the average person, it's only going to cost us less than that for what they're going to get shipped in a year, and therefore we're going to make some profit on that Prime membership. So they're not stupid. I mean, they're not really giving you free shipping. You are paying for it. Now, if you ordered a lot of items from Amazon and got free shipping on all of them, you are probably getting a benefit. You may have paid more than that Prime membership in shipping if it were all calculated shipping, for instance.
Well, and in all fairness, your Prime membership now does give you all sorts of other bells and whistles.
It
like
does.
Photo storing and the movies and the music and all that. So there are other benefits.
Absolutely.
But it's a basic rule of mommy to child. Child, nothing is free in this life. And so often it amazes me. Like, we had the same conversation with Ben. When you hear the word free shipping, and I've even had the same conversation with adults, you hear free and they think it's free, to the point where we were talking about listing some things for Ben at one point, and he's like, well, shipping is free, so I don't have to worry about that. And we're like, no, babe, it's not like eBay is going to just generously give you free shipping, dude. You have to pay. It's going to come out of your portion.
Right.
Remember, nothing in this world is free. And especially with shipping, you've got to account for it somewhere. That's our point. And Winnie said something about that earlier in the chat, that don't you dare do free shipping unless you're willing to compensate for it. And that's our point exactly.
And we'll talk about that a little bit more in some strategies here. But so those are our 2 rules. Don't lose money on shipping, and the buyer pays for shipping. So those are really the only 2 rules. And everything else is negotiable, I think. But if you always follow those 2 rules, you're at least not going to lose money on it, and you're going to increase your chances to be profitable with your eBay business. So let's talk about tools and supplies. Now, we've talked about these before, and they don't really change that much.
And we're not going to spend a lot of time on these, but some of them we really need to impress upon people that if you don't have some version of these items, you're going to be a little behind, and you're going to be hard pressed.
Starting with that one. Oh, you can turn it on, Press the button. Accutech scale. So this scale goes up to 110 pounds. Why did I get one that goes 110 pounds? I don't know. I've never shipped anything anywhere near that heavy, but who knows, I might one day. But that's not the point. The point is you need to know what stuff weighs, because shipping largely is calculated based on weight and size of package too, in some cases.
Doesn't this open?
It does. But you need to have a scale, guys, if you're going to ship on eBay. Drop the 25 bucks on a scale. That's about what it's going to cost you, and get a scale. What was it? Somebody we were talking to. Somebody we were talking to the other day, and they were talking about their scale, and it wasn't specific enough. So like if you had to weigh ounces. Oh, I think I remember.
I don't say who it was, but you can tell the story. Just don't
Yeah,
say who it was.
because we were talking to somebody and they had to ship something, so they. Sorry.
Yeah,
So
don't say who.
so they took the item and they held it in their hands and they got on a bathroom scale, and then they dropped the item and then they looked at the weight and then they took the difference to try to get it. But the item was like in like a couple pounds, but some ounces too, which matters. So they weren't quite accurate. So you need to get a scale that can weigh in like very small amounts if necessary.
All right, moving on. And one of the things that we do, we create our own little efficiencies, workarounds, cheat sheets. I don't know if you guys, yeah, you can see that. So explain what that is, Prof, and why.
So that will tell you how much my shipping label weighs, a poly bag, if I'm shipping in a poly bag, because then I have to worry about weight, the invoice, which is 1/10 of an ounce, and the total is 1.2 ounces.
And why do you do that?
Well, it's very simple, Kaaren, because then I can just put an item on the scale and add 1.2 ounces to it and know that's what it's going to weigh with that particular setup of packing materials. I don't have to put those items on top of it too, because that kind of gets tough sometimes to stack all those things. And it takes longer too, because you got to put a label on there, you got to put your invoice on there, the bag on there, and the item. So just something simple like that, quick little hack. All right, so a scale is a must. What else we got?
Boxes.
Boxes, lots of different boxes. That's the USPS shoe box.
That we order special.
But you can get those free from USPS.
But we also recycle when we get a shipment from FedEx, UPS, USPS not so much. But even Amazon boxes, we'll recycle those as well. They're great little boxes to reship, right?
Yeah.
So boxes, cardboard, good. It's also easily recyclable.
Tape gun, we've talked about that before. You're going to need to tape stuff up.
Jason's favorite. Shall I demonstrate how the tape works? No.
She's the loudest taper.
And an excessive tape user too.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, what else?
What else you got over there?
Free supplies. So for those new to shipping, PFRE, priority flat rate envelope. It's a padded, well, whatever. PPP. Padded flat rate envelope. Yep. You can order them free. They come in a big box.
You can also get them flat in the cardboard. And the cardboard ones are a little cheaper to send. But I like the padded ones because of a million different reasons.
Well, and those cardboard ones, like the legal size one, there's a great debate on whether you should put jeans in them, for example. You're really not supposed to, just so you know. They're supposed to be for documents.
Did you already show the label?
No, I did not. So lift up your heavy box. So we use these, and Sadie said something about getting ones that will stick. We've used Uline in the past.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thought you were going to say use them now. I'm like, that's not what we use.
No, we use them to prop up the computer.
Who do we use?
I don't even know. But I know you know because you order them, but it's on 2 pages. And the reason we use this one and not the Uline version is because you can kind of see that seam in the middle? It's so easy. That's a blank space. So it's so easy to just tear it off. I'm not going to do it because I'll waste it, but it'll tear off right from there. You don't have to bend and do all this nonsense to get the label off.
Yeah, it's easier to peel them off.
And this is how they come.
Those actually came from Value Mailers, which I think is Threeb, is the guy on eBay or woman or whoever it is that sells. They're a big seller. They sell like packing supplies and so on. I've ordered from them many times. And usually, guys, this is what we usually do. We order in bulk. That's 1,000 labels.
And how much does that cost?
This might have been $35 maybe, something like that. Not a crazy amount. So I always order in bulk. I mean, if you know you're gonna sell 500 items over the next 6 months or whatever it is, order 500 labels. Like, you're gonna get a better deal. You're only gonna have to do it 1 time instead of do it 6 times. Value Mailers, yep, that's who it is.
We also use these just regular padded envelopes for different things that we sell, and they are wonderful because you see that little strip at the top. We take that. No, you don't need to use tape with that, and so we love that as an added bonus.
Yeah,
and you'll hear
they seal really well.
They do, and you don't have to use an extra piece of tape usually. You'll also hear thrown around the word poly mailer. And we use 2 different sizes of those as well. These are just the blank ones. Some people will use really pretty themed or branded to their store bags, which I think is absolutely adorable. We do not. These are just plain white ones.
Yeah.
And this big one is perfect. We can put a suit in this, or a suit coat, or even a big heavy jacket. This one, we're not limited at all to what we
put
can
a pretty
in
big
there.
jacket in one of these once.
Yes,
and I was
we did.
surprised it fit. I was like, whoa, that actually works.
And we still wrap it in paper. We're not just shoving it in there and hoping it gets there in one piece and pretty, but we still no. We still pay attention to detail, and it's going to get there. It's going to get there in good shape, and it's not going to be hurt. And then this one, you can pay for them, but a lot of times you can use your credits and get them for free.
Yeah, free shipping supplies.
And this is actually, I think we're out of is this a tiny one? No, there's a smaller one than this. But I love this one, but only if I can fold it correctly so that eBay shows.
Adam asked, what size is this one, Adam? I think the big one. I think it's like 22 by 15. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's right. It is a big size bag. I'm telling you right now, like you can put, I'm pretty sure I've shipped 4 pair of jeans in one of these with no problem at all. And it'll definitely stretch out. It's strong. You can get them different thicknesses, which will make them obviously a little bit less resistant to tearing, or more resistant to tearing.
Yes.
But I love these because you can even fold them up over themselves and make them smaller and more compact. That's what she loves to do. I just throw them in there. Whatever.
There's an art to it, Adam.
She's good at it.
And we can talk offline about how and why and all that stuff. But for me, it's this dance, right? I push all the air out of it. I fold it over, because by golly, if it were to come to me and it would be like the labels were crooked, or it was this or that, or it had holes in it, like that would make an impression on me how it arrived. Yeah. So I try to send it out into the universe pretty and
Michelle
orderly.
Says 24 by 19. That might be right too. I can't remember the exact dimension. I actually haven't ordered them in a long time because I don't really usually ship that many big items that go in those.
I'm pretty sure there's a link or something, and it's probably in the link.
And here's the reality. Like if you've got an item that weighs, say, more than 2 pounds, which some suit coats will weigh that much, sometimes thicker jeans will weigh that much, shoes certainly weigh more than that. You're going to put them in something else that's a flat rate that's going to be cheaper than that. But if you've got to ship something that just won't fit, those are great. And I love to put like a larger item in one of those and just package it up nice and sort of seal the tape just right. It looks great. I mean, it's clothing. It's not a Fabergé egg. It doesn't have to be.
So Debbie, to answer your question, sometimes much to his chagrin, yes, I will tape the edges, especially, it's not
she loves to use tape.
It's not even an aesthetic or a cosmetic thing for me, but I receive packages that have been torn or ripped open at that seam. So what I'm looking for when I actually let it go at USPS is that there's not this opportunity for it to get hung up on something and torn, opened, or inadvertently ripped.
Yeah, and as far as getting the air out of them, I mean, I'd say just push the air out and then seal them. I mean, I'm not in the vacuum sealing business here. This is not like food we're trying to preserve for the next 6 months. I mean, I just don't think people are going to get the package and take it apart. As long as it looks fairly neat, I think it's fine. It's just when it looks really kind of.
And I'm doing that more to help me line up the seams and close it up. Keep in mind that if there's a hole big enough to push the air out, it's eventually going to seep back in anyway. So it's not a definite permanent fix when you squeeze all the air out of it.
Right.
It's not a vacuum.
All right. What else we got over there? Anything? Is that all the shipping supplies?
I think that's pretty much all.
All right. So those were some quick supplies and so on. Hopefully you guys probably already have some of those. I think those get you started. And just on the labels too, something to print them. Print. Don't need to even say this in 2017. Print your shipping labels. Don't handwrite them for like a million different reasons. First of all, if you have writing like mine, no one could read them. Second of all, that writing can get smudged very easily. Third, you can write the wrong thing and you have no recourse when that item gets shipped to Timbuktu and your customer never got it. And now you're dealing with that issue for the next 2 weeks. And fourth, it just looks professional for it to be printed. I don't care if you use like the little Dymo laser printer and put the smaller label on it, or you do the half-page labels like we do. But print your labels off, guys. It'll come straight off of your eBay invoice or your eBay label purchase, if that's where you're purchasing through, which you should. You get your discount. And just print them right on the label. Like a half-page label is fine. It could be a smaller label that, like I said, if you use a Dymo. I don't think you need to do a full-page label. I think that's overkill. But a half page is great because you can get 2 per page instead of just 1 big label. The print your label, it just looks so much better and will save so many problems.
Right. And not to, I thought it went without saying, but to Mark and Winnie's points about, you know, so that I don't appear like I'm manhandling, keep in mind, we ship jeans. And so squishing out the air is not going to hurt them necessarily.
Right.
But yes, if it's a delicate fabric or a delicate button or something like that, of course, use common sense and handle appropriately.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so you've got your supplies, you've got your 2 rules of shipping. Don't lose money on it, the buyer pays for it. Now, let's talk about your strategery. First of all, if you have a niche, or is it a niche?
We cover this every single time.
If you have a,
yes, it's both.
If you have a niche you sell in, this is going to help you dramatically. Even if a niche is just maybe a big part of what you sell. For instance, if you sell a lot of men's button-down shirts, you could put them in those poly bags we just showed you very, very easily. Most of those are going to go first class because they're going to be under a pound, which is going to be fairly cheap to ship. And you can have the same bags on hand. You can buy bags 100 at a time or 200 at a time, whatever you need. And that way you'll get a good rate on them rather than buying them piecemeal, like, you know, 5 at a time from Walmart or something like that. It's usually better to buy in bulk because you're going to get a better rate. And it's going to be simpler because you're going to know what to do. You're going to know, like, this shirt is under a pound and I know how much to charge. I know what to ship it in. I know what way to ship it. All those things. I know what sort of label is going to be printed off. When you have a niche, it's always simpler to figure out shipping. I don't care what you're doing.
Because you're batching and you're repeating all of your steps, and it's becoming part of your process. And again, we're trying to streamline our processes. So if you're doing the same thing, and you know, a lot of resellers, even when you mentioned the shirts, we don't pre-package our shoes or pre-package our jeans because we just don't. And there's lots of reasons for that. But some people will actually pre-package and get ready for shipment so that they are touching it once and then it's ready to go. So they literally take it, it's in the poly mailer. Sometimes people even put those poly mailers inside of another mailer, boop, 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 done. So it's just all part of repetition, streamlining. There you go.
Sadie asked, Prof, please explain the 2 labels per page. This was killing me for a long time until I figured it out. I think some may not know how.
Oh, because sometimes it'll print on both, right?
Well, I don't think that's what he's saying. So I do it. This is how I do it. I set it.
Right back.
You can turn that off if you want.
Yeah.
So I set it up so that when I do bulk shipping, so that let's say I sell, you know, 10 items overnight or something, and I get the next morning and I'm going to select all 10 of those and print invoices. And then I'm going to also print shipping labels for those 10. And when I do that, it's going to ask me to go through the bulk screen, and it's going to ask me if I pay for them and if it's correct and so on. And at the end, it's going to pull up just your standard printed screen, and it's going to show it as 5 pages, 2 per label, because that's the setting I've already set out. I'd have to probably go through the whole screen sharing part to really walk through it completely. But it's not that complicated. And if you have one that's like an odd number, say you sold 9 items, right? So this is what I do. I will put, if I sold 9 items, I will put 5 of these sheets in the printer. I put them face down right on top of my paper tray and my little brother printer I've got in there. I put 5 of these sheets in, all 9 print. I pull this one off. This is the 9th one, stick it on whatever I'm shipping. And then this one, I just put back in my label tray. I have a label tray where I keep about 200 or so out, and it just goes in the top. And the next time I get an odd number, it'll be the one that's the odd one. And I use it up. So that way I don't have a bunch of just singles labels laying around. But if you do it bulk, it's so much simpler, I think. And I'd have to probably go back and like I said, look at it a little closer to tell you the exact methods. But they have label preferences in there when you sell something. What a lot of people do, though, is they'll go to just the one item and say, all right, I want to print the shipping label of that. Bulk it. I mean, that saves you time. It saves you money. It saves you headaches. There's some limits to it. Like today I had a global shipping item, a GSP item that was going overseas. It won't allow you to include that with your other bulk items. So you have to go in and do that one separately. But most of the time, piece of cake.
And we actually don't, somebody asked about it goes boop, boop, and then print the receipt. Our process is we print the shipping label confirmation, like the thank you, you bought this is how much you paid sheet. And then we print these labels, but we don't print a separate receipt. We actually handwrite what the shipping cost us and then enter it into the spreadsheet. So we're not wasting paper. And then that spreadsheet is what goes to the accountant to account for what we paid.
Yeah. And somebody said that, hey, I don't even send invoices. And I've gone back and forth on it. Kaaren likes it. I still do.
I wish that we would still sign them in person, but we don't.
We used to do that. And I'm like, man,
smiley face.
Too much time. But, and I've even toyed with not doing that. Just waste the paper, but I don't know. Teach their own. All right. So strategies. There's a few different strategies you can take with shipping. One is you can recover some of the cost. Now, remember I said you shouldn't lose money on it, but there is a strategy here where you can say, I'm going to recover just some of the cost. And there's some reasons for it. Like for me, example, it costs $630. Do you have the padded flat rate over there? It's right down there. So this package right here, padded flat rate, it's going to cost me $6.30 to put that label on here and ship it to anywhere in the really anywhere, even overseas. And what I could do, I usually charge, I'm doing a lot of free shipping right now, so I have it factored in. Otherwise, we'll get to that in a moment. But I could charge, say, $4.99 for shipping for every single pair of jeans or anything else that will go in that padded flat rate. Does that pay for the entire cost? No. But it does offset some of the cost to make it a bit cheaper. And the buyer is going to see that too and say, oh, the shipping's only $5 when really, you know, it's still priced in maybe otherwise. It's a good marketing tool. It allows me to recoup some of the cost straight up for the item. And it's a strategy you can use to sort of offset the cost. I'm sorry, we're going to say something?
No.
I ended there weirdly.
That's okay. I'm just getting ready for the next one. Was there something relevant that you wanted to
Well, we'll just see. That's the first strategy. Why do you prefer that over a cheaper legal or flat rate envelope? Because flat rate envelopes, when they get wet, especially if they have clothing in them, disintegrate. And it does happen. They also, I find they don't stretch as much as the padded flat rate. They don't give the perception to the customer that you packed it in something padded, even though it's clothing. And I know, but there's a perception factor here that you cared about enough to put it in a padded. And I get some nasty cardboard cuts from them if I'm not careful. I mean, they're a thick cardboard. If you catch yourself right on them and you pack them long enough, you will get cut on them eventually. That's just me. Maybe I'm clumsy, but that's all the reasons we use the padded instead of the.
Well, in the cardboard priority mails, you're really not supposed to put thingies in them. I mean, especially with the legal, a lot of folks use those for clothing. And I think it says on the website that you're not supposed to. On the flat rate regular cardboard envelope, there's also a limit to width. And I've seen people shove some pretty big things in there, and you're just not supposed to. So why bend that rule or break that rule knowing that you are potentially going to have an issue when you can go with this option and it works just fine?
Melanie asked, how's that offset the cost when it doesn't cover the postage? Well, it offsets some of the cost was what I was saying. It's not designed. That strategy is not designed to offset the entire cost. You could still, let's say in my example, it cost me $6.30 to ship an item and I charge $4.99 for the shipping. I could add an additional $2.30 if I wanted to, or $1.31 to cover the entire cost. I could add that to the price of the item. So it's not like I've completely did away with that, but it allows you to that if you offer free shipping, the item gets sent back, you're out that entire shipping amount because you're going to have to refund that back to the buyer when you get the item back. So this allows you to recoup some of that cost up front too for the inevitable returns you will get because you're going to get some returns.
Right. And we're going to talk about all of the different. So we're not saying that that's the one, right? That's how to recover some of the cost, right?
Right.
You can also offer free shipping, right?
Right.
Your first idea.
That's the second strategy.
That's the second strategy. So the first idea is that you charge a portion of what it actually costs you to, again, recoup some of it. Well, you can, and we talked about this earlier, you can offer free shipping. But if you're going to do that, you're going to need to incorporate that cost of shipping into your actual pricing so that you're not losing money. Are you with me? So don't put free shipping thinking it's going to be enticing to a buyer for your item that you paid $5 for, and then you're going to sell it for $10 And then where's your profit? That's the whole point, right?
Right.
And don't forget taxes, because that shipping income is still taxable income.
It's revenue.
Right. And the
It's
disclaimer,
revenue.
we're not accountants, but that's basic revenue education right there, folks.
Yep.
But we do have to point out that you have to, you know, figure out that kind of stuff for yourself. IRS still considers it revenue. So
yeah, if you charge shipping, that's revenue. If you don't charge shipping, you're getting extra revenue on the front end because of you're charging a higher price, and you're going to have a cost going out, but you still need to equate for that. Like, that's still going to all come out in the wash one way or another. If you're charging $5 for everything you ship out, or $8, whatever the cost is, that's revenue. And I know some of you are going to say, well, it's offset by the cost of shipping the item. It is to some extent, but maybe not entirely. So you should probably price a little bit higher, but we'll get to that in a moment. Clarence Ninja had a question I want to answer. How would you ship 2 pair of jeans to the same person? It depends. If they were really small pairs of jeans, I have gotten 2 pair in a padded flat rate before. That's rare. So then you have the option of doing one of 2 things. You can do combined shipping, where you would put both. And if you do the bulk shipping screen, it's going to come up and ask you that. Hey, do you want to combine these 2 orders? Sometimes combining them and putting them in a poly bag, like the ones we showed earlier, is cheaper than 2 padded flat rates. But there are lots of other times when the 2 padded flat rates, 2 separate shipments, would still be cheaper than shipping 1 poly bagged shipment, depending on weight. Like, if you've got it, for me, if I've got to send 4 pounds of jeans across the country, which would be roughly 2 pair of, decent men's size jeans, and I've got to send them to Oregon, it's probably going to be cheaper to send 2 padded flat rates than to send 1 4-pound package. It really is. I might be able to do it with parcel post a little cheaper, maybe, but that's not going to fit my shipping time, since I don't normally offer that. It's usually a priority mail shipping time. So I'm technically not meeting my requirement there. So I would do it one of those 2 ways: combine the shipment, or do it as 2 separate padded flat rates. Ooh, that was a lot of talking. Let's see. Ed Miller says, remember when eBay didn't charge commission on shipping and people would sell stuff for 99 cents plus $30 shipping? Yeah, they didn't charge fees on it. That's why they started doing it.
Yep.
So you can hit with the fees on it too. And some people are saying they would charge $1.50, $1.65 more to cover shipping and final value fees and PayPal. Yeah, I mean, some amount. If it's costing you $6 to ship, you should probably charge $7, $7.50, $8 extra if you're doing, say, free shipping, to pay for that $6 of shipping cost, because it takes your time. You should price in there a return rate. Now, there's a concept you're not going to hear in the reselling world. Guess what? You're going to get returns. Some percentage of your sales are going to come back. And if you're offering free shipping, you're losing the shipping charge on those returns, right? Because you paid to ship it out, and then you got to give all that money back to the customer. So you're out that shipping charge. Now, that's not going to be a huge percentage of your overall gross, but it's something. So you got to price that into the shipping on all your items to meet that. Like, big retailers do that. They figure a return rate. They figure a loss rate, a theft rate. It's part of your business. You just price in your model. So, anyway.
So the next one on the list is what? Calculated.
Calculated.
Yep. And what that means is that the shipping is calculated. It will calculate itself based on the weight of your item and where it is going. And that's an option under eBay that you can choose. It's going to require you, though, to enter the weight of your item.
Yep. And there again, it goes back to the scale. I mean, when we first started, we were doing everything that way. I was weighing. Well, I guess I went to the padded flat rates pretty quickly with the jeans, but everything else is like, it's a weigh, it's a weigh, it's a weigh, it's a weigh. Weigh it, put in the amount on the listing, and then do calculated. Weigh it, put in the amount in the listing, then calculate it. Nothing wrong with that. A lot of people still do it that way. I think if you can figure out a free option or a flat rate option that will work for you, you should do that instead. And I say that because that extra time to calculate the weight of every item adds up over the space of hundreds and thousands of listings. And it's time you could be doing something else. If you can streamline that part of it and say, all right, all these shirts are going to be under £1. They're all going to be first class. And I'm just going to charge $5 shipping for them, which we'll get to that flat rate here in a second. So I would do that if you can. but you certainly can weigh every item, and then you're never really technically going to be out anything for the shipping if you do a calculated rate. Now, where that gets tricky is figuring out what box or bag you put it in, and that depends on what you're selling. Obviously, some things, if you're shipping clothing, poly bags will ship 99% of it. If you're shipping, board games, video game consoles, car parts, probably not so much. So you can do that as well. And the last one is flat rate.
Not to be confused with priority flat rate. Stay with them for a second.
Yeah. So you could just charge a flat rate for all your items. Now, this gets a little more complicated, but some people like to do it this way because it takes into account all the good parts of calculated shipping and without some of the negatives. So let's say that you on average are shipping 1 to 2 pound items. And sometimes they're going to go across the country, depends on where you live. And you know that on average that it's going to cost you, that's going to cost you $11 to send it to the furthest place away in the US, we'll say. And if you send it to somebody next door in your neighborhood, it would cost you $6, right? You could say, all right, 6 and 11, halfway between those is about $8.50. So you could say, I'm going to charge $9 shipping for everything. It's like an average, right? And sometimes it's going to cost you 11. Sometimes it's going to cost you $6.50, but it's going to average out to be, $8.50, $9, somewhere in that range, depending on where you're at. And you could do that. You just come up with a flat rate and say, I'm going to ship this way with priority mail, and I'm going to charge an average flat rate. And some people, it's going to cost them more, and some people it's going to cost them less. But overall, I'm not going to lose money. Now, that's going to frustrate you sometimes because you're going to wake up one morning, you're going to have I'm going to have 6 orders to California, and I'm going to go, oh, that's like, that's going to be like 75 or be about $70 to ship, maybe even $75. I'm going to be like, oh, so expensive.
Well, and you went through a phase, again, Prof making the mistake, so you don't have to, but you went through a phase where that's all you did. And yes, there was lots of Prof math and probability and, how many things are more than likely to go to this because we're in the South, we're in the Southeast. And what are the chances that we're going to be shipping to Maine versus California? And you went through that phase where that's all you did was ship based on a flat rate that you came up with. And it was the lesser of two evils, I guess. But I don't think you got hurt too many times.
I didn't. And the advantage is that by charging something that if the person, because a lot of people are asking in the chat right now about returns, the advantage to charging something is if people return it, you're only compensating them for the amount they paid for the item, not the shipping charge. That's true. That's true. So if it costs you, $8 to ship something to Idaho, and the person sends it back to you, and they pay $20 for it, I'm only going to give them a refund of $20. That $8 is gone. Like that money, I had to pay that money to ship it to them. Technically, they paid it because they paid it when they bought it, and then they got to pay money to ship it back. So that's their, that's it. So a flat rate like that can be good for you to use if you want to go that route. If you don't want to offer free shipping, or if you don't want to use like a flat rate postal solution like flat rate boxes or padded flat rate envelopes that have a set amount they charge. That's a different flat rate. That's the USPS's flat rate that they charge you. It's going to be the same. Whatever pretty much will fit in there for the most part will go for that amount, which can be cool too. That's another, it's like you're letting them average it for you.
So based on all of those strategies in the chat right now or down below in the comments later, what do you guys do and why do you do it? Out of all those strategies, are you charging a partial amount for the shipping? Are you offering free shipping, calculated, or are you assessing a flat rate based on the entire continent or possibilities and putting that in there? What are you guys doing and why? We'd like to hear from you.
Build the Brand asks, is offering free shipping boosting you in the rankings? Some people think so. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I can't sit here and say one way or another it will or it won't.
eBay sure makes it look like it will.
Well,
or
you
they make it look
know,
like you should. All those emails, or even when you're listing, oh, you should consider giving free shipping. That looks better.
it's kind of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, I think, but
You know, you're trying to convince the buyer they're getting a better deal than they really are, and they're not. They're still paying for the shipping, and they have to. That's reality. Like, if you were in, let's say, guys, you weren't selling on eBay and you were selling something through, I don't know, PayPal or something to somebody across the country, and it was a 30-pound item that needed to be shipped across the country. That would be expensive, right? To ship 30 pounds. And let's say it was too big to fit in a flat rate option. They're going to pay for the shipping. You're not going to eat that. I mean, because that's just realistic. Like, they want it, great. You got to pay for it and the shipping to get it to you. I'm not getting in my car and driving 2,000 miles. That's going to be a lot more than, you know, it would cost in the shipping charge. And if you want me to put this item on a truck and send it across the country to you, or give it a plane ticket to be flown to you, you got to pay for it. I don't know why that's like, I don't think that's really unreasonable.
Well, and this is kind of related, but not as usual. I'm not sure he's still in the chat, but one of our rebels sent a 30-pound boat anchor in a priority mail flat rate box.
Whoa.
You remember that post?
Oh,
that
just
fascinated me. I loved it.
30-pound one?
It was like, oof. Well, anchors are really heavy.
I know.
But it wasn't the big, like, weird.
Are they? I thought they were like balloons.
Now you're gonna get a comment because you're not being so. But it was this boat anchor, and he sent it, and it was fascinating. I loved it, and it got there fine. There were no issues, and they say up to such and such, or no weight limit or whatever, and he took them up on it, and it worked. So we should catch up on some of that, right?
Yeah, and I know you guys have a lot of questions and so on. What you're saying you do. Chrissy Z charges full shipping based on buyer location. I also offer best offer, which is kind of a nice middle ground, I think. All the above on shipping, Andrea Larson says.
Oh, that's a good. And sometimes you have to sort of move the gauge around, right? Depending.
Can't Stop Saving says I do flat rate $4.99, first class, and $7.25 for priority if they fit in the flat rate envelope. That's reasonable. And you're not going to lose money on that flat rate, especially at $7.25. That sounds about right. Plus, Adam includes a 20% restocking fee if the buyer's a pain. If who was it? Tino, I think, who would do it. It said, "Hey, if you return the item within 7 days, I won't charge you the restocking fee," which I thought was interesting.
That's brilliant, right?
And because most people who don't like the item and they really want to get it back to you will return within 7 days. It's only the people who kind of are sort of lazy about it and sort of sketchy about it, who usually it sits around for a couple weeks and then they're like, oh, I got to return this. As free shipping is a filter, if you don't offer it, your item may not be seen. That's true, Tenor, but I would argue this. Most people who offer free shipping charge more for their item. So someone who was looking for an item in a price range that was lower than the amount you were charging, if you had free shipping on it, would not see your item. So there's different ways of looking at that. Probably more people look for free shipping, I bet, though, overall. Well, I don't know. I guess it kind of depends. Like, on some items, I think you probably expect it. You know, if somebody's going to ship you a $500 iPhone, you're going to expect there's not going to be a shipping charge, I would think. I mean, it's not even heavy. There's going to be insurance, maybe, but not a shipping charge. Let's see. When I've done free shipping in the past, my sales have dropped. That's interesting, Vicky. I wonder if there's any link there. I mean, doesn't really make sense why there would be, but it could be. Skip uses all the strategies. Of course.
Of course you do.
Skip's there's not many things Skip doesn't know that on eBay, that's for sure, and hasn't done. A mixture of it all, WV Thrifter says, flat rate for what will fit and weighs over a pound, calculated parcel shipping for heavier items. Yeah, parcel is interesting. Parcel can be cheaper. It takes a little longer. But for a lot of items, people don't really care. And you could definitely offer more than one option. Let's see. 10K does that 7-day thing too as well. Calculate for most items. Calling 98 says hard goods are fixed with some of the shipping calculated in to entice the buyer. That's interesting. I like that.
Well, and sometimes Renee says that that she searches by free shipping, not by free shipping, but by price. And you'll notice sometimes even eBay's own filters, like when I'm out and we're sourcing and I'm trying to look something up and I want to sort it by price or what's sold, or if I'm looking for something new, sometimes those others will filter in there. Like if I take off the free shipping option, I'll still get free shipping. Or, you know, or if I opt for free shipping, I'll still get some, that it's a filter, but sometimes it still puts its own twist on it. eBay does eBay.
Right. And Large says, I never search by free shipping, only by price. And that's true. I mean, I think price is still the big driver, you know, in terms of like the intangibles of a product, obviously. I mean, the brand or the fit or the model, the make, I mean, those things are what people kind of look for first. And then they start shopping on price to some degree, depending on what it is. Let's see what else here. I wonder how many buyers search using lowest price, including shipping, when searching for items. I don't know. Good question. Shipping heavy items are cheaper in Mercari and Poshmark. Oh, I didn't know that. Lots of people saying they maybe search lowest price.
Oh, and Michelle says she searches by how fast she can get it. And remember, that's one of the tenets of what, you know, what does the consumer want? They want it now. They want it for cheap. And what's the third one? I thought there were 3.
They want it. They want a wide selection.
Yep.
Yeah. The Bezos comment about what will stay the same over the next 10 years. Yeah. And I wanted to cover a couple other really quick things, guys, with this topic. When you're trying to decide a service to use, USPS or FedEx or UPS or what have you, choose the one that's the simplest and the cheapest for you to start. At least start with that. You can always get more complicated as you get more confidence around what you're selling and shipping and how to maneuver your way around through the shipping labels and fields. But choose one that's simple and cheap. You will thank yourself later. And like I said, if you feel like if you got this fear of missing out because somebody else is using some other shipping, I mean, I don't think customers care too much about the shipping method. As long as it gets to them in good shape and they don't have to pay a fortune to get it there and in a reasonable amount of time, given their expectation about what the product is. You know, an item for Christmas is going to need to be there in a certain time frame, whereas, you know, a sweater they like might not need to be there for a little bit longer. So I always start with that option, simplest and cheapest. And what were you saying?
I want to do the next one.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
There's also, and it came up in the chat a lot today, but the regional boxes, those are regional A and B, and they're different sizes. We don't use them. We're actually going to promise to experiment with them next year to see if it would be of benefit for us or not. But that's another option. It's the idea is that something lighter, simpler to ship that's close. You can get a better deal on it. So that's something also that you can order those boxes. In fact, we're not going to screen share it, so I'll just read it. But they come in 2 sizes as well. And let's see, a 10 by 7 by 4 3/4 is the inside on one, and then 12 by 10 1/4 by 5. And the thought there is that if you're, it'll be cheaper to ship, and it's regional. It's based on zone. Oh, are you going to do it anyway?
Yeah, there's the one.
Oh, very good.
That's the regional mail B1 pack of 10 or 25. And these were all free, correct?
Right, free from USPS, correct. Oh,
yeah,
very
so
good.
If you don't have a USPS account, guys, you should get one. It's free. And you can get a lot of these free supplies.
And it's regional rate. It's not flat rate. So don't think that you're going to.
And was this the other one?
That's the definition.
Oh, that's the definition. Okay.
And then the other one is that one, yeah.
Sorry, I had these ready. Is this the other one?
Yeah, it just shows the other size of it. That's all.
Oh, did you want to show it or no?
No, I mean, they can figure it out.
Got it. Yeah, you guys are smart. You got this. I don't have to show you.
But yeah, there's 2 sizes, and we can't say if it would be beneficial for us or not. So, and we're always honest about that. So we'll give it a try, and we'll see if it does actually come up cheaper or not.
Yeah.
I think why we don't do it, one of the reasons is, again, it's adding another variable to our shipping process. and it's going to take time. We've sort of, we're in this routine now where for jeans, boom, we go flat PFRE, we do it, we're done. This is going to cause us to add another step and do a comparison. And I don't know, we don't know until we try it out if it's going to be worthwhile for us to ship that way or not. Some people swear by it. So it's worth I think it's worth a shot to see if it'll work or not.
And Ninja, to answer your question about the branded tape and eBay, the eBay branded tape and boxes, not used the tape, but have gotten some of the boxes, the bigger boxes. I think we've used them maybe once. They don't seem like the sturdiest box, honestly, for the size of the box. I'm not sure I'd want to put a lot of weight in them. If it was something that was larger but didn't weigh a lot and I could pack it with, shipping material around it, filler and so on, great. But I don't think I would ship something heavy in them. That's just my take on them. It did not seem like a very thick box. I'm not sure what their crush test weight is.
Yeah, and we don't ship a lot of things that require.
Right.
I want to say we shipped some FBA stuff to Amazon in them once. Maybe.
We did. And Adam has a great point. Be careful, new sellers, when ordering supplies on USPS, they come in packs, like 10. So if you order 10, you get 100. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Read the fine print. You don't need to order 100.
These guys come in a box of 100 or
They
50.
come in packs of 10, and I order 10 of them.
Yeah.
So it comes in one big box of 100.
And we order them and they deliver them for free as well. I think that's that's a time saver, money saver. Our postal guy will come and just drop them off at the front door. I love that. And and you can't get these, at least we can't. You can't get these from the local post office. You have to order them online.
Yeah, they might have the cardboard ones.
They do.
There,
a couple.
maybe. But the padded ones, at least our post offices, never have them. It's always something we've got to order online, which is cool. They drop it off right at the front door. No big deal. And
and that mini eBay box. Yeah, the next time we have an order from them, we're actually going to get that smaller one to try it out, because our go-tos for eBay, we tried the boxes. We weren't a fan. The tape, I don't like the tape so much. It's pretty, but I don't think it's very sticky. So I like what we buy now. So those poly mailers have been our favorite. But I do want to try, who said that? Tinner? I do want to try
6
that
by 4 by 4.
Yeah, I do want to try that smaller one. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, thank you guys for coming out today. Had over 100 people watching, so really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, what should they do, Kaaren?
Mateys, you should smash the like button.
Check out the description down below for all kinds of helpful links and so on for some of our supplies and things that we order. Somebody was asking about that earlier. There is a link to that on Amazon, but there's really all kinds of different options you can choose for shipping supplies. There's not like a right or wrong answer for all of it, but you should definitely shop price and shop availability the best you can. So
today was a big day for you, and we didn't even talk about that. You know that, right?
It's okay.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it's still okay.
Website's spreadsheet.
All right, guys. So hope you guys have an awesome weekend. We'll be back on Monday, won't we?
We will. We'll be back a lot more next week, if you can even imagine that. We have the entire rest of the month planned out, and it's going to be so much fun. It's not even funny.
Hey, and if you know somebody needs help with shipping, would you share this video with them? Thanks, guys.
That was like a double face.
We'll see you soon. This is Prof Sales.
And just ask Kaaren, saying good sales to you.